Today, we are going to dive into, are you really ready? So, this is an important question because I can't tell you very many people I don't talk to. There's Kimmy showing up for a little debut here. I can't tell you how many clients or even friends, even going out to parties that I talk to, and people are always like, yeah, I can lose a few pounds, or yeah, I'm ready. I think I should be exercising, or gosh darn it, I can make better choices with my food or something like that. And so I will have plenty of people say that this is something that they desire, that they want. But then the question really becomes, are you ready? And I have that question for you as well. Is this something that you are ready for? And what I'm going to do today is dive in and look at what that means. What does it mean to really be ready? So I'm really excited to be here and doing this with you. If you are new into my world, hello, I am Audra. I help women get out of food hell and body jail. I literally help you heal the deeper reasons why you struggle with food and your body in the first place. So many of us work and we immediately get lost in the crap that we've known, the stuff that they've been teaching us probably since we were kids. Our moms taught us to weigh ourselves, to diet, to cut out this food group, to cut out that food group. And if it wasn't our parents teaching us or taking us to Weight Watchers meetings when we were preteens, I have so many clients with that story. If that wasn't your story, then we usually find out later as we start to be conscious of our body and aware of our body and end up dropping into a very toxic diet culture. But I promise you, if you are struggling with overeating, stress eating, comfort eating, binge eating, compulsive eating, all the ways that we eat that have absolutely nothing to do with physical hunger, and it feels like a struggle for you, and if you feel like you're truly struggling with your body, then a diet plan is not the answer. Counting points is not the answer. There is a reason why you have been struggling and self-sabotaging for a long time, and what I do here at Hello Body Freedom is we work with healing the deeper reasons why, because when we're willing to go under and go actually heal at a level that's actually not that awful, we're not revisiting the past, we're not doing anything like that. We're just learning how to reconnect with ourselves and reconnect with our truth and reconnect with our body. And whenever we have this kind of reconnection, it's almost like a healing. And then the next thing you know, you forget that the chocolate's in the pantry for a month. You forget that you left that candy in your purse a week ago. You're like, oh crap, that was at the bottom of my purse. Completely forgot about it, right? You enjoy a meal and you trust yourself that you made the right decision and you feel in connection to that body with satisfaction. Binge eating literally falls off. Overeating starts to fall off. All of this is literally waiting for you. So that's what I do. If you're new into my world, welcome. If you want the most amazing way, this is an amazing announcement. Shh, it's not really secret, but you are the first person to know that you are here live. And I will tell you right now, you can see right there where it says hellobodyfreedom.com/5 day path. This is my free challenge. I have not done a free 5 day challenge in a year or more. And so I have been putting this together behind the scenes. This is going to be the most epic free 5 day challenge I have ever put together. So you can go right now and you can register at hellobodyfreedom.com/5 day path. And I will talk about this a little bit later, but it is going to be the bomb.com. Really excited for that. Now let's go ahead and dive into today's topic of, do you really want to lose weight? And what does that even mean? Okay. Like I said at the very beginning of this, you're likely thinking, of course I do. I wouldn't even be listening to this if I wasn't in a place of wanting to make changes with my relationship with food, end overeating, sustainably lose weight, like figure out, I want this, Audra. I have clients that legitimately are holding on to 20 to 100 pounds that does not make them feel good. It makes them feel uncomfortable. And part of their journey back into healing their relationship with food and healing their relationship with their body includes losing weight, right? So all of that you can have. It's yours to have. But what we want to do today is start to just get a little bit clear with what that means to actually want it. Because, like I said, so many of just anywhere I go, people I talk to, as soon as they hear what I do for a living, they automatically want to tell me their stories of, oh my gosh, I really want to lose this, or I really did that right. And so, this is a quote that I thought was really wonderful. It says, the habits that you created to survive will no longer serve you when it's time to thrive. And I love this so much because we have to get out of survival mode. And I just want you to think about this. Whenever we are using food as a coping mechanism, when we are using food as the thing that makes us feel better, it's totally disconnected from whether or not we're hungry, right? We feel a big feeling, we eat the food, we overeat, we comfort eat, we binge eat, whatever. That is that's a survival mechanism, right? That is not thriving. That is surviving. You learned at some point in your life when your nervous system and your emotions got really exacerbated and overwhelmed, whether major stress, major fear, major anxiety, major sadness, major depression, like whatever it might have been, you learned at some point that when you ate the food that made it feel better, it became your coping mechanism for that intensity, for that moment that you had to survive. Okay. The reason why that habit is so hard to switch and change is because it becomes a really strong neuronal loop over time. And a lot of us learn this shit in childhood, right? I've said this a million times. Man, did I learn it in childhood without even knowing it, right? You don't know when you're 6 years old, when your parents are going through a divorce. You just know something's not quite right in your body, and then the food makes you feel better. Boom, done, right? I don't think I started pulling apart my emotional eating until I was 35 years old, y'all. That's 3 decades of a strong habit loop of a survival habit. It's a survival habit. Okay. But the habits I created to survive, they're not going to serve me when it's time to thrive. And when you talk about thriving in your body, when you talk about getting to the next level, when you talk about feeling good in your body, you're literally saying, I'm not going to use food to cope anymore. When you talk about losing weight so you start to feel better in your body, you are ultimately saying, I'm going to stop using food as a coping mechanism, or I want to, not even the right way to say it. It's that I'm going to learn better ways to move through my life. I'm going to learn better strategies that are helpful and not hurtful. Okay. And so the very first question, and of course, if you're listening to this and this sounds like you, if you're like, oh my gosh, you sound like you're in my head, Audra, then of course you're probably like, of course I'm ready. I want this to be over. I'm ready for the next thing. But the question I want you to really ask is, am I truly ready? Am I ready to take action in this way? Okay. Am I ready to start a new habit? Am I ready to scale up a habit that I'm like, it's time to scale it up and go to the next level with this habit? Okay. And really, this is up to you. But we want to really be honest with ourselves in terms of these 3 questions. The first one is, am I ready? So you might go, okay, yes, you can go, okay, I don't drink enough water. My sleep is shit. I need to start exercising more or just moving my body more, whatever that means. I definitely need to improve my nutrition habits. Or, man, I've been drinking a whole lot all summer long, like way more than I usually drink. And I can totally tell that any of these habits I just talked about are really affecting my life. And I need to step up. I need to step it up. And so you might know this. You might know the habits that you need to start to put in place in order to get where you want to go. But the question becomes, are you ready? Because here's the thing, you can want to do something and truly not be ready. And so if you keep telling yourself, I need to do this, I need to do this, and you keep thinking that's enough to get you moving, unless you are truly ready, like an inner ecology of ready, like the sense of this is happening. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I am a 9 or 10 that I'm going to go to bed on time and get 8 hours of sleep. Then I'm going to pay more attention to my relationship with food, like in terms of eating because of hunger, the food freedom formula, eating because of hunger, eating what you want that's going to satisfy you, slowing down and paying attention. I feel like I say this like a robot all the time, and I do, and that's okay because the more I say it, the more people will get it. And then stopping at satisfied, right? Really practicing with those inner body cues. Okay. Maybe that's the thing you know you need to do, right? But when you're ready, you're like, no, this matters to me. I'm going to start keeping a journal. I'm going to set alarms to make sure I go to bed on time. I have strategies now for how I'm going to finish this much water every day. I am going to start moving my booty this week. It's like inside of me, it is non negotiable that this is going to happen. Like when you are that level, that means that you are ready. Okay. So what happens is when we're not ready, what we end up doing is saying that we need to do these things, wishing it, wanting it. But then because there isn't some level of inner readiness happening inside of you, you obviously are going to come up against resistance. You're going to come up against rebellion, right? All of these ways in which we quote unquote self sabotage ourselves. And so ask yourself, am I actually ready for whatever these habits that you say you need to start doing? Are you an 8, 9, or 10 on a scale of 10 that it is actually going to happen? Do you have some level of thoughtfulness and a plan in place? Okay. So that's the first thing. And if you can get some clarity on that, you can stop beating yourself up because I want you to really hear me. There is a season for really locking and loading habits. And sometimes there are seasons where you don't really lock and load the habits, right? Summertime can often be a time where our schedules are off, we're out playing a little bit more, we're not really focused. I know for me, whenever I go into a big launch, like we're about to do the 5-day Path to Freedom challenge, it's all about saying goodbye to food sabotage and saying hello to body freedom. I'm literally going to be walking you through like how to get out of the hell you're experiencing and why we self sabotage. But it's a big season in my life. And usually when I go through it, it's about 3 weeks to 4 weeks of inviting new clients into our life, doing more one-on-one coaching sessions and VIP coaching. Let me tell you, like my exercise can definitely fall off. My hydration can fall off. My actual nutrition can fall off. I will say that the more you work the food freedom formula, that inner connection, so not everything goes off. Like I don't end up overeating or binge eating or emotional eating anymore, even when I'm going through a phase like this, or even like a summer phase. Let's use summer as an example where it's more fun food and the kids are out and things like that. Even in that case, if my nutrition actually goes down, the quality and nutritional value of my food goes down. Eating only because of hunger, eating what I want, slowing down and truly paying attention to satisfied that like never goes away because it's so innately ingrained inside of me. And if you want to know how to innately ingrain that inside of you, go look right now, hellobodyfreedom.com/5 day path. Go get in there. It's free. It's going to be the best challenge. It's going to be the bomb. So go do that. All right. I just want you to understand that there are seasons that you might want to, but you're just not ready. And learning how to just be okay with that is pretty damn smart. Like we want to do that. We want to be like, you know what? This just isn't my season right now. I can do the best I can, but it's going to have to wait until, let's say, September when the kids are back in school, when I'm back to work, when there's more routine and rhythm, right? That might be a better time. So you might actually be in that place of readiness right now. Okay. So the next thing we want to look at besides ready is actual willingness to like literally make these changes. And I want you to really hear me. Habit change is a thing. The old habits that you had, remember at the beginning of this, we talked about survival habits, right? They are so ingrained. My example of emotional eating for 3 decades, like my emotional eating started at like age 6, y'all. I am 46 right now. It was 35 to 37, sometime in that area, that I really started to commit to working on healing my relationship with food. So between 6 and 36, y'all, that is a long ass time to have a strong habit loop in my life and in my body of a way of thinking, a way of feeling in my body, and a way of behaving that was super, super strong. It is built, like, it is like so unconscious. It was so unconscious. Okay. And so understanding that like making these habit changes requires you to put a little effort in. You are going to feel a little out of whack. It's going to feel a little hard. Right now, a little bit of stress is okay. Like our bodies are designed to handle stress. So whenever there's something new in our life, it's maybe outside of our comfort zone, like learning a new habit or setting a new skill. That's going to be a part of it because your old brain, your habit brain, this unconscious part that's been doing these behaviors for probably decades, it's just really set in its ways and it just wants to keep you safe and alive. And it does not give a flying FUCK. This part of your brain doesn't want you to change. Flat out. It likes it the way it is. You're safe and alive the way you are right now. And so whenever you do try to make a habit change, this part of your brain is going to throw fear at you. It's going to spew shitty mindset stuff at you. What's your problem? You can't do this anyways. You might as well just go back and sit on the couch and do nothing. It's just crazy. Okay. Which means in order to create those new thriving habits out of survival and into thriving, off the couch and moving your ass, out of the donut shop and into, I don't know, the smoothie shop. I don't freaking know. You know what I mean? Just like something that is like it matters that I moved my life forward in that way. Like the willingness is really important. Okay. Why? Because making these changes requires your effort. The first time I ever heard this said was with Janine Roth, and she said it was in one of her bazillion books that I've read. I've read all of her books. It takes great effort to become effortless. And I love that because the great effort is really overcoming this old habit loop that you've likely been doing for decades and creating these new neuronal patterns, these new habit loops. And these are habit loops for thriving, my friends. And so your willingness absolutely has to be there. So it's not just about being ready, it is totally about being willing. Okay. And now this is a really big piece too, because it's ultimately the resistance comes and all the different pieces come, but you might have those big goals. But if you're unwilling to execute, if you're unwilling to actually do the thing, then you're like something's getting in the way. Okay. There's some like discomfort, there's some afraid, there's some resistance, and it's understandable. But I promise you, and here's the tip, the trick, the bonus little piece here that's super important. Because if you're sitting here going, okay, I'm sick of getting in my way, I'm ready and I'm willing, I want you to take whatever that habit is that you think you're getting ready to go. So maybe it's moving your body, but maybe you've told yourself, like, I have to do it like every single day, right? That's probably why you're not willing. That's probably why you haven't been doing it. So if you lower the bar, the most important question, and that I do this with our all of my paying clients, we do this every single week in Power Hour. We do it every month with our monthly reset refocus. The question becomes with the habits that you're putting into place is, am I an 8, 9, or 10 that I'm actually going to do it? It's not just that I'm ready, but I'm willing and this is going to happen. Okay. And if you are not an 8, 9, or 10 for going to the gym 4 days a week, then you need to figure out what behavior you are going to be an 8, 9, or 10 at. So, in terms of moving your body, what if the only thing you needed to get started with moving your body was to open your front door, walk 5 minutes out your front door, turn around and walk back home? So you just got 10 minutes of movement in without even trying that hard. Are you willing to do that? Yeah, I guess I'm willing to do that. Okay, on a scale of 8, 9, or 10, how are you actually going to do it? I'm a 10. How hard is it to open my front door and walk 5 minutes out and turn around, right? That one decision has changed the lives of so many of my clients. I can't even explain it. Them thinking that they were poo pooing the idea of just moving 10 minutes, but they got the benefit of it. They actually did it. They were ready and willing to do it. And those clients turned into like crazy walkers, like hour-long walk, couple of hour-long hikes in the nature. They didn't feel normal unless they did it. So they like it was just crazy going from absolutely nothing to moving their body in the way that they love. Really powerful. So this is how we do it. And then the last question, so am I ready? Am I willing? And then am I able? And I want you to really think about that. What resources and what support do you need to actually be able to do this? Okay. If you say that I'm going to lift weights, but you don't have a gym membership and you don't have any weights in your house, as an example, you're not able to really. That's not true. You could say, "Well, I'm going to use body weight." See, where there's a will, there's a way, my friend. Isn't that true? And really looking at what resources are required for the change. Okay. So if you have tried this over and over again and have failed, then one of the most important resources that you might need is support and help. Have you thought about that? I know for me, I always poo pooed getting support and help. I had a degree in exercise physiology. I still have a degree in exercise physiology. I went to Bowman College in Santa Cruz, California for a year and a half of my life to become a holistic nutrition educator. Like I had all the information about food and I had all the information about lifting weights, just body kinesiology, metabolism, like all the things, how to transform the body, whatever you want to call it. I had all this information, and yet I was really struggling with my weight. I was binging and overeating, and then I was dieting and massively restricting. I was gaining weight. I would stay in this kind of gained weight chunky phase, and then I would diet, and then I'd lose some weight, but then I'd immediately put it back on. And it was just like this real intensity in my life. This was a long time ago. This is my early 30s at this point. But like I wasn't willing to get help. Like even though I was ready to make the changes, I was willing to make the changes, I wasn't able. Everything I kept trying, despite the information I had, nothing was effing working, right? I was like really just ballooning my body up and then shrinking it down and really messing with my health and messing with my metabolism. This is what dieting does, by the way. Dieting is never the answer. But if you've been trained by diet culture or by in the world of nutrition that like eating this amount and only eating these macros and cutting out this food group is the answer, then that's probably what you've been trying. But if it hasn't worked and you haven't been able to do it, then looking at what resources you needed. So when I finally hired my first coach, when I finally stepped into that container to heal my relationship with food, is when everything changed for me. Okay. And so look at the ways that you have maybe not been able to do this on your own and look at what resources you need to put into place in order to make those changes, especially if you're ready, especially if you are willing. Now we've got to make sure that you're able to do it. Okay. Because as far as I'm concerned, the freedom that I have now been experiencing for over a decade, I don't know. I'm just going to say it flat out to you. It is way better on the side. It just is way better. The level of peace and freedom I have with food, the capacity I get to eat absolutely anything and everything with zero shame and zero guilt. My size stays exactly the same size, whether I am having an incredible nutrient dense week or month or whatever, or a very low nutrient dense week or month. A great way to put that. We went on vacation. Josh and I went to Angel Fire. We went mountain biking, we went hiking, and I would say that was a non-nutritionally dense eating. Like we went and had burgers, and he made me big steak and potatoes. I had wine I hardly ever drink. We went out for dessert. We had a road trip, so we had some road trip food. But did my weight change? Nope, nothing. Didn't happen. Now, what happens is I start to crave more salads and greens and vegetables and things like that. And so then my diet maybe became more nutritionally dense. But either direction I went, I'm not gaining weight or losing weight, people. Like my weight stays the same. And so this is waiting for you, this level of sanity around food in like a normal way of eating that feels effortless, that really feels like you don't have to put that much energy in it. Now it takes great effort to become effortless. But I promise you, like gold is waiting for you on the other side. So, with that in mind, last chance of the session. HelloBodyFreedom.com/5 day path. Thank you everybody for listening in. I hope that this was helpful for you because this is what it takes. These are the basics. I know we all want it, but are you ready? Are you willing? And do you have the resources? Are you actually putting yourself in positions where it makes it so the thing you said you're going to do a lot easier or non negotiable, or you have the support system and structure that you need to make it happen? Okay, my friends, make sure you do not miss. And also, free challenges are way more fun with friends. Get your friends on board. Any questions at all, drop them in the DMs, reach out to me. I am super available. If you're my client, box me, and I will see you on the upside. Bye, everybody. Get your ass signed up for that challenge. All right, bye, everybody.